Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world, this is the world away. We have now got pack 11 of Modelspace's Build Your Own Thunderbird 2. Okay, in this pack we get to do quite a bit. We're going to be putting a ramp in pod 4. We're going to be building the jet air transporter, Alan's racing car, and we're going to be putting some speakers and the back boosters in, and a hover bike. Loads to do, but I get excited because we've got electrics to do in this, and every time we've got electrics, ooh, I get the tingles. Okay, so what we've done, look, this is pod 4, all completed as you can see here, on both sides. I'm going to put that to one side just for the minute because we don't need that just for the second here. We're going to need this pack here because we're going to be building the ramp first. So let's open this up and see what we got. Right. Tipping this all out, no problems at all. We got the ramp. Oh, we got a whole bunch of little goodies there. And looking inside there, look, we've got a little. Is that Alan? Who is that? That's Virgil. That's Virgil Tracy in there. That's going to be the little jet air transporter that we're going to build later. But I'll put that to one side. A couple of axles. And just some other little bits here. So without further ado, let's get cracking. Okay, so the first thing we've got to do is take the ramp from the last issue here, and we open this pack up and we're going to get out the bits and pieces they give us here, which is like an axle, two bits of ramp, a plastic bit there, and a couple of bits of pipework which seem to be statically stuck to the vehicle there. Okay, and what we're going to be doing is we've got this section here. We're going to be holding this section this way around. We're going to be attaching it to the base on this side here. Let me just make sure it is the right side, because we've got some hinge marks there and they're going to be matched to these hinge marks on this side here as well. So what we'll do is we'll get them in lining up just like that, and then I'm guessing we're going to be putting something through there. Let's have a look. Once the corners are met to form a hinge, which they are, it says insert the longer shaft with the smooth end first, and the way they're putting it through is I believe it's on this side going out. So let's open this shaft up. This should be a nice quick stage, but it'd be nice to have a picture of Thunderbird 4 doing its thing in here. So we'll get this one up just like that. Put the pin through, and then you know you put it in the right way because you should get resistance before it goes in all the way, which it is. It's resisting now. So you push that in. You're just using pliers on this. There we go, that's it all the way, that's not coming out, and as you can see, the ramp now lifts up and down. So we've got that bit done first. Then we're going to be putting another pin in. Now as you can see, in the middle here, this is going to be fiddly, we've got this little slider that we had. It's going to get the unit out, and we're going to be attaching this to this section here, and putting a pin through there. Oh, this is going to be hard. So what we need to do, I'm just going to, you can move it with this slider here so that you can keep it a bit more open, but you see I've got that lined up there. Now the trick is to get the short pin that we've got here through both of them. This is going to be tricky, so I might have to come back to this one. There we go, that's really tricky, but I've got the pin halfway in. I'm just going to push that all the way in now, making sure that that won't come out. That's all the way in, and make sure the pin doesn't fall out. It doesn't. So now this ramp is now attached to this slider. So when I pull this slider up here, oops, this way around, the ramp rises, as you can see. Oh, that's good. That was a really tricky one to put in, I have to say. Once we've done that, we've got that pin in. It says check the slider raises. This is step 10, which it does. We know that works perfectly. We're going to be gluing this section here, and it's going to be following the section, the exact same diameter, the exact same shape as that. So it's going to be going in just on top like that. It's going to require a little bit of glue, so we'll dab some glue in there. 1, 2. Put the glue in. There we go, and that's that top piece in. And then last but not least, we're just going to be putting some pipe work in, and the pipe's going to be going from these small holes into the bigger ones. So it's going to be going just like that. So let's get these glued in as well. Little touch of glue. Not going to need a lot at all, these. So I'm just going to put the glue ready for the other side as well, so we get that done nice and quickly. Just a little bit of pipe work. It's nice that Thunderbird 4 has now got its own vehicle that it can live in and look really good in. And we're doing the same on the other side here. Making sure that they're in the holes. And they're down. That's not in the hole yet. Is now. There we go. So that looks just like that. And then, last but not least, we're going to be attaching the ramp, this ramp here, to, or what section does it need to go on? It needs to go on the base here, but it locks in, sort of like, just making sure we've got this the right way around, with this sort of end with the little divot on going just tight into that bit, just like that there. Okay, so once that's clicked into place, you can see that's freely and able to slide in and out, just like that. And as I said, you've got it in the right way because when it's completely retracted, there should be a flush end here. Then what we're going to do is we're going to bring over pod 4, because we're going to be securing this into pod 4, which means we've got to take off all these doors, and I'm going to open the front hatch up as well. As a matter of fact, let's open the back hatch up as well. More light going through. Because we need to mount this in. Now, we've got 2 holes just at the back here, the bottom here. They're going to go into these 2 screw holes, which are open here. Now, I need to dob some glue into this to secure this down. So, getting glue in here is going to be a bit fun. So, what I'm going to do is put a bit of glue in there. Matter of fact, it's probably best just to glue these things here. God, it's early in the morning here at the moment, so I don't know why I didn't think of that first. But now we need to get this in without making a complete mess of the base. So we'll put that in, line it up, and then when it fits in, there we go. Just hold it for a second. That is the ramp completed. I'm just going to give that a hold down. What do you think? That looks really good, doesn't it? And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring Thunderbird 4 over with this elevated so you can see what that looks like. So I will shut the back up now, just like that. Oh no, I need the back open because I need to be able to lift this up. Let's go get Thunderbird 4. Here's Thunderbird 4. So we put Thunderbird 4 in position, just on this pod here. Let's stick it back there. Oh, that's good, isn't it? And then when we push the base unit here, what do they call it? The slide gear, if you like. It lifts up. As you can see, look. It's pretty cool. Then it's free to, I'll give it a little bit of help, come down the ramp. You can actually slide the ramp out, and then off it goes. How cool was that? That was pretty cool, wasn't it? So, okay, that's done. So let's go on to the next stage. Right, as you can see, for the jet air transporter, we've got 8 pieces here. And look, we've even got a little tiny Virgil Tracy. Look at him. He's tiny. But the bits we're going to need are really, really, really tiny. So I might need my magnifying glass out for this, because the first bit we're going to be working on is just this little tiny bit here, which is the control panel. And we're going to be gluing a joystick to it. Now, the joystick is the little silver thing, which is over here, which is even tinier. Which looks just like that. See that? Okay, let's put that on my finger. There we go. That's the joystick. Now the way it's orientated is with the joysticks obviously facing upwards, and it's going to be going in that slot just there. So let's get a touch of glue on here. Just a real touch, and I'm going to try and put this in with my tweezers, because this is going to be a pain in the neck to get in. I know it is. With these tiny ones, let's do this on camera here. They seem to take, they seem to take a lot longer than the normal ones. Plus, there's an increased risk of you losing the pieces. But there we go. That's the joysticks in, just like that. That was hard. I don't mind admitting that. Okay, that was step 1 done. Step 2, it says tweezers will help you press these parts into place. Well, I've done that. Thank you for noticing. Okay, step 3, it says glue the control panel to this hole in the cockpit floor. So here's the cockpit floor here. And we've got a hole in the floor just like that. We're going to be gluing this whole control panel into that stage there. And the way around it's going to be going is obviously with the joysticks facing the back wall. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to just put a dab of glue. I'm going to hold this with tweezers because it is really tiny. I'm going to put a dab of glue just on the end here. That's enough. Don't use a lot. And then we'll get this in just to the base of the cockpit like this. Put that in. Get in there. These are so tiny, these pieces. There we go. Make sure it's straight, which it's not at the moment. There we go. And then that's that little joystick part in there. God, these are so tiny. Now, step 5, step 4 is basically saying this is what it looks like. Step 5, we're going to be just putting that to one side because we're taking this bit here. So we're going to be gluing the main body to its base. This is the main body. This is its base. It can only go in one way because you've got a little tab on that, and that tab's just going to go into the side there. So when we put this in, it's going to look just like that. So let's get this in. I say that it's it seems to have held in by its own. Let's see if I can get this out. If I'm not gluing it. Oh no, it does. So we'll put a touch of glue in there. It's not going to need a lot. There we go. So once again, we'll put this back in. I've got a funny feeling this is definitely going to be the smallest transporter that we're going to be dealing with, but that's the main base done. Now we're going to be putting a little first pump on the top of it. The first pump's going in this hole nearest to the hole at the back, so it's going in that hole there. The first pump looks just like, oh, we've got two of these, and to be honest with you, they look exactly the same, so I don't think it matters what way round they go. They are exactly the same, so it doesn't matter what way round they go. I'm going to dob some glue just into these parts here. 1 and 2. Excellent. Get these in. They are square at the base there, so when we put these in, they can only go in one way. But that's the first one in. Oh, please don't lose any pieces. I'm still having nightmares from losing that red bit for the pod that I managed to find after about 20 days. There we go, and that's the two pieces in there. And now we're going to be gluing the cockpit to the main body. So this is the cockpit here, goes to the main body. So basically just that section there is just going to be going on this, and it's going to look just like that when it's in. So let's just dab a bit of glue just into this little cavity here. Not a lot. There we go. Put it together. Now when we put our little figurine in there, which we're about to do, it doesn't need glue, you just drop him in. So let's just drop little Virgil in there. Vigil. I'm going to stand him up because I'd like to take a nice picture of this. There we go. And that is the jet air transporter complete. Look how tiny that is. Let's get a picture of that so you can see. I'm going to put a ruler by this one as well because it doesn't do any justice of how tiny that little thing is. But that is the jet air transporter complete. So what I'm going to do is put that to one side now because we're now on stage 68, which is the left rear booster and Alan's racing car. So for that we're going to need, let's have a look what bits we're going to need. We're going to, not that one, yeah, it is that one actually. We're going to need that one there because we've got Alan's racing car, the base of it in there. So let's get this open. Now this is where things are going to get really exciting because look at these boosters. We've got boosters which will be going on the main unit, and then we're going to be putting some lights and some, let's put Alan's racing car just to one side there, some speakers and sounds in there as well. Okay, so the bits we need are the main booster part, the booster plate, the booster vents and some screws. Everything else is going to the racing car, so we're just going to need these bits right here. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is it says we're going to take the booster. There's two sides to this. We've got a lovely smooth side and a rough side. So the smooth side here is the side that's going to be going down towards the vents. So there's the vents there. We're going to be putting this on just like that. That was step 2. It says these two mounting posts will secure the vents to the booster, which it does. Step 4, we're going to be putting this inside the booster housing here. And the way it goes in is, go on, which way around does it go in? It doesn't tell me. It goes in from this yellow side, like this. So let's put that in like that. Oh, get in there. It's going to go in like that, and it's going to be secured from this side here. Which is, yep, that's absolutely right. I'm just double checking that. Yep, it's going to be secured by that side there. So we're going to turn that round to line it up, and we're going to be putting some screws in these 2 screw holes, you can see in there now. So let's open my screws up. I've got my scissors today. That's handy. Normally they get lost. And once again, Modelspace are really good because they give you a spare screw by the look of it. So we've got a spare screw in here, and we'll get this bolted in. This is the first booster part. Whoops. Just lining this up is probably the hardest bit, but there we go. It's lined up. I'll get one screw in, and then I'll get the other one in a second. That one's going in okay. Probably see this on the top actually. I'll put the other one in through the top camera. You can see what I'm doing. If I put that around about there, you can see all the way down it. Oops, and then we'll put the second one in. Which goes in there. And that's the second booster in. Now, this takes us up to step 6 of that. Make it nice and tight because you don't want this vibrating around because, as I said, there's going to be a speaker near here. But that is the booster done. Put the screw to one side, looking like that on that side. And that the other side. One booster completed. That was nice and easy, wasn't it? Right, now, we're going to put that to one side because we're going to be dealing with Alan's racing car. So, first thing I'm going to do before we start is get these wheels off the sprue. Just make sure there's no burrs on this. These ones do come off really clean, I have to say. It's very rare that I've had to do anything with the filing and stuff like that on the sprues. So there we go. So that's the sprue completely empty. And then we're going to take these axles off as well, which means I need my scissors again. Cut them off. And we've got 2 axles. And then this is basically built just like all the other ones that we've done. We're going to be putting the... don't tell me that didn't open the pack. Do you believe? I just cut that and it didn't open the pack. Oh, get the last one out. Come on, you. Come on. You know you want to. There we go. They're out now. Hard. Right, okay, so once again, we're going to take one of these axles, thread a tyre on in the hole here, push it down because we want that to be nice and tight. There we go. And then we're going to do the same with one of the other axles. This will take us up to step 2. Pushing it down. There we go. That's 2 in. And then what we do is we're going to get Alan's racing car and we're going to be having it this way round. And the first thing we're going to do is just thread one through like this. And then we're going to be putting one of the tyres in the other side. Pretty easy, huh? And then we'll squeeze that together. So this, once this is done, I'll get the first one in and give it a good old squeeze. Will take us all the way up to step 6. Oh, let's have a look. No, this is going to take us all the way up to step 9. Cool. Step 9. So then we'll put the second one in here. Whoops. Like that. Put the tyre on. There we go. Nice and tight. We got wheels. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, so right, once we've done that, we're going to be putting some details on. So the first detail we've got is this little, where's me little tweezers gone? The dashboard, basically. Now the dashboard looks like this. You can see on the camera there. It can only go in one way. So basically if this... Sorry, this car should be that way round when I'm playing with it. Okay, so the bit that goes up, this is where the dashboard's going to be going. There's 2 holes for it to go in and it's basically facing towards the rear of the vehicle. The rear of the vehicle is... God, they look very similar, don't they? Basically the one with the dots on the other side of this little ledge here. So when we put this in, it's going to be facing this way. So I'm going to put some glue in that and we'll see how that looks. Doesn't need a lot of glue at all, this doesn't. But what it does need is to be able to... hang on a second. What it does need is to be able to go into this holes without me losing it. So I've lined it up, pushing it down. Oh, that's gone in perfect. So there we go. That looks just like that. That's the little dashboard in there. And obviously, if you've got a dashboard, you're going to need a seat. So the seat is the last bit, and that's just going to be facing it in these 2 holes here. So once again, I'm just going to look what we've got to do. I'm just going to dab some glue just in the middle of these 2 holes here. Just there. Not a lot. So that when I put this in, that's definitely going to be enough glue to hold it. And that will be the seating just like that. So you've got a seat and the little dashboard. And believe it or not, that is all the way up to step 14 done. That's stage complete. So we'll put that to one side. Put my screwdrivers over it because the next stage we're going to be doing is the other booster, which is this one. So let's get this open. This is going to be deja vu for you people because, because we've got some Alan Tracy's car again. Make sure there's nothing in that. Now, this time, before we continue, I'm going to get the booster parts ready, which are these bits here again and the screws. And we've got the car. Let me talk about... Actually, no, I'll talk about the car in a second because there's something quite unique that we've got to do in that, which I'm getting slightly excited about and slightly terrified about. And I'm debating whether to do it on camera. And you'll see what I mean in a minute. So you see what I mean about these packs? When I cut them, they never open. Because I have what it wants me to do, I haven't done in a long time. I'm talking years. So once again, we've got a rough side and a smooth side. The smooth side's the side that's going down towards the vent. exactly like we did last time, and then the vent's going to be going in from the this side here, and it's going to be secured. If I put this over, it's going to be secured from the other side, the black side here. So I'm just lining this up a bit better. There we go. That's lined up inside there. So now I just need to put some screws in there. So we'll load up my screwdriver and we'll get these 2 screws in. Once we got one in, it's not so bad, but it is a little bit tricky to start off with, I have to say. So we'll get the first one in. Ah, that's got in lovely. I don't know if you can see this on the top camera, I have to say, but I am trying to do the best view I can when we do this. We're going to put the second one in there, and once again, we've got our spare screw, which is always nice. Luckily enough, I haven't had to use any of these spare screws, because of all the things I've lost in this build while I've been trying to build it, a screw isn't one of them. But if any of you have been watching the video, every part that I've lost I have eventually found, so that's not a problem. But let's get my screwdriver away there. There we go, that's the second booster done. We've got 2 matching boosters now, both sides. Okay, looks like that. So I'm going to put them to one side because this is where things are going to get scary now. Okay, look at this. Do you remember these things? These are the transfers you used to put on the little tiny model kits, which you have to put in water and then let them soak, and then you need to put them on the actual vehicle here. We're going to have to do that later. What I'm going to do is build the car, and then I'm going to do this bit at the end. I don't know when it wants me to do this bit, but I'm going to do that bit at the end because I can see me having problems, and I really do need to concentrate on that because it's going to be hard. So let's open this pack of goodies up here. Oh, God, this is another one of these packs that I don't want to open. Right, make sure there's nothing left in there. There was. Right, we've got the steering wheel first. So basically we've got this, what we had last time. We're going to be putting the steering wheel into the dashboard. So in the dashboard we put in, there's a little hole in there. Again, this is probably going to require some tweezers. So I'm going to put a dab of glue just on the end here. Just like that. And then we'll get this into this little tiny hole if it will go in. There we go, and that's the little steering wheel in there. Next thing, we've got the windshield, which looks just like this. This is going to be a really, really delicate part. You just know it is. And that's going to be going on the front of the vehicle. Obviously, that's the front with the number. It's going to be going on these 2 holes here. This is going to need the tiniest amount of glue. So what I'm going to do is put a little tiny bit of glue just on these bits. And if you get any of these plastic bits on anything, you've really got to be careful when you're putting these things in. So what I'm going to do is just hold it with tweezers. Be really gentle putting it in the holes that they need to go in. Okay, that is the windshield in. I don't mind telling you that was really hard. And here's the problem, that if you look at pictures 3 and 4 here, it says we put it down, you know, pretty much like we're supposed to do. But the holes on the windshield were way too big for the holes on the vehicle. So, you know, if you try and push them down, you're going to break the thing. I actually cut off the little tabs. I cut the tabs off and then I glued the windshield down. And that's why it now looks like that. It looks a hell of a lot better than it did. That's for sure. Okay, so that's the windshield on. Okay, next stage we're going to be doing is the, let's have a look. So next stage we're going to be doing is now the rear windshield. And the rear windshield's going to be going into, let's see where it's going. It's going lying down basically onto these 2 holes here. So what we need to do, dab of glue again, probably just on these little pins here. Let's get them on. 1, 2, just the tiniest bit of glue because you don't want to be getting glue on the clear perspex. So that's just going to be going in these 2 holes over here. Oops. Okay, and once you've done the back, that's what it looks like with the back on. So we've got the back on there. So we'll do the last bit now, which is basically putting the tail fin in. Again, the tail fin is directional. So that's going to be facing that way towards the front of the vehicle. And that's just going to be going into this slot at the back there. So we'll put a little dab of glue just on this here. Little dab. There we go. And then we'll get this pushed in. This will probably be the easiest part to put in. There you go. And that's that bit done. That's the wheel section, the wing section on the back there. And then all we've got to do is we've got to offer this part of the vehicle to the main vehicle there. So we'll just drop some glue in here. 1, 2. And then that is almost Alan Tracy's racing car complete. Just offer these bits together. Give it a good push down. There we go. And that is almost Alan's racing car complete there. Pretty cool, hey? Now, that was hard. And I'll tell you why it's hard. And I'm sorry to tell you this, but the front windscreen, the rear windscreen, the steering wheel and the fin, the pins were just way too big for the bodywork of the cars. The first problem that I probably noticed, so I've had to cut all of them off and glue them in without tabs. And that was hard. That's why you saw so many cuts of me building that. It does look good when it's done though. As I said, I have to say, once it's finished, it looks really good. But now the hard bit, what we've got to do is we're going to be putting some transfers on this thing. And that's these little things here. And here's the instructions how to do that. Basically, we're going to be soaking these in water for 10 seconds. We're going to leave them to dry on a like a cloth, a kitchen towel, and then we're going to be putting them on the vehicles here and here, just at the back. There's only 2 that we've got to put on, so thank God they gave us spares. We need spares. Okay, so this bit's going to be the hard bit, and I knew this, so let's get it cracking. I've stylized up a bit. Look, I'm using a shell. I'm using a shell here for a little bit of emphasis on the numbers. What we're going to do, got some water in there. We're going to drop one of these transfers in the water. Make sure it's completely submerged, because obviously we want this whole thing wet. And we're going to leave it in there for 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. While I'm talking about that, basically these, look at the picture, it's going to be going on these bits there and the other side here. Okay? So, 9, 10. So that's in there for 10 seconds. I'm going to just take this out now with my tweezers, if I can get it out. And I'm going to put it on this little bit of tea towel I've got there. And then something it doesn't tell you to do in the instructions, I'm just going to put a little bit of, just making this a little bit wet. I don't want this to be perfectly dry when it seats. It can dry afterwards. But, you know, I'm just dabbing it with my little trusty tweezers here. But I'm going to be using these to sort of like drag it over. So, once that's done, you'll know it's ready because you'll be able to move that number around on the plate there. And I'm just checking now if it moves. And it does. It moves fine. So what we're going to do, we can pick this off this plate now. I'm going to hold it in my hand. And then I'm going to sort of slide it onto the actual thing. Now, if I could pick this up, that would be perfect. But I can't. So once you've got the edge off, get the edge right to the edge of the paper there. Just like that, because that is the bit, oh look, it's floating down again. There you go. God, it wants to go on, doesn't it? We're going to be putting this onto the vehicle. So, this is so tricky, and I really don't want to cut away, but we'll see what happens. There we go, and there's the first one done. That was an absolute nightmare, and it was really hard. I don't mind telling you that. But I had to use my little handy tool here to keep this clamped in. But we've got the first one on. I have used one already, actually, because that was so hard that it was. I needed help. I needed to use a spare. So I'm going to get this held in again, just like that, and we'll get the second one on now. Let's see if this goes on as easy. That wasn't easy. Why am I saying that was easy? I mean, I've cut that video then because I made a cock up and the second one went on fine. But hopefully I'll be able to do the second one live so you can see it. So I'm going to drop that in the water here for 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Do you like my little bit of artistry there by sticking it in a sticking it in a shell? Oh, I'm so crazy. Right, I'm just leaving that to soak, so I might as well get rid of my rubbish while I'm leaving that to soak. Okay. Right. Now, what we do, we just check that this can move around, which it can. Now, we need to get rid of the excess water off this. So I'm just soaking that up now. As you see, I've taken it off of one side of the transfer there. I'm just going to push this to the side that I've soaked. Then pushing it to the edge like that. I don't know if you can see this on one of the cameras. I hope you can, because now we're going to be putting the second bit on here now. So I'm going to hold this in my hand. right to the side of the vehicle it needs to go, and then we'll hold it flat and then try and just push it off. Whoops, God, it's so on the edge here now. Right onto the edge of the vehicle. Just like that. I'm holding it in place with my finger. Just going to have a look at that. It's slightly off. I need to move that. Hopefully it will let me. Just a little bit. So it's in line with the other one. There we go. And then we're going to get my tissue and push that down and keep it in place. And there we go. Look, it's gone on. That's the second one. Oh my God, I'm dropping it. But there we go. I'm going to put this to one side. There we go. And that's the two transfers on. And they are straight and it looks good. And we're going to get a picture of that now. What do you think of that? That was tricky. But it looks really good. So let's get on to the next stage. Okay, so now we're on stage 70. Stage 70, we're going to be putting the left speaker booster in. And for this, we're going to need our test board. Do you remember that? Okay, so what we're going to do first, it says make sure the thing's turned off, which it is, and then connect up the battery box cable to the CON1 socket, which is already on the CON1 socket, as you can see there. CON1. See? And then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be attaching the LED cable. Now we're working on this pack here. Let's show you from the top. We'll open this up. Ooh, get all the bits out. God, that speaker's really flat, isn't it? Look at that. Look how flat that is. That's excellent. Okay, so this is the LED speaker wire that we want. We're going to take the wire off here and we're going to be plugging this into the test board. Once I've got this off. Now the part that it goes into is this plug next to the main circuit one here. So let's plug this in, making sure we're putting it around the right way. And then theoretically, when I turn it on, this should light up. There it is. Look, got a little LED light going on there. Excellent. Okay, so that was easy enough, wasn't it? Now all we've got to do is disconnect all of that. So we'll disconnect this lead here. Now, I always hold it by the plug, not the wire, because you don't want to pull the wire out, okay? But this is the little holder that the LED is going to be going into. And the way this is going to be fitting in is basically through... Let's have a look how they've got it here. It's going to be going through like this. So it's going to be sitting in just like that. So it's all the way in there, just like that. It's a delicate part, this is, because once we've got this in, like that, trying to hold it in with my hands, actually, it's probably best to give it a little bit of resistance underneath, so I'm holding it just like that. Because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting this into the base of the booster rocket, I guess this is, the here. So that's going to be going in just like that. And then once it's in, we're going to be securing this down with a screw. Just getting this lined up. There we go. And then the screws that it comes with, that's all in there now. It's all hands and fiddly, this is. But look, I'm going to try and show you. There we go. That's what it's looking like when that's in. The screw we're going to be securing this with is the ones that come with it. Now, this is probably going to fall to bits while I open this. Of course it is. Of course it is. I'm filming this on a Sunday morning, and you just knew that that was going to happen. Again, we only need the one screw, and it looks like they gave us a spare again. So what I'm going to do, this is going to be difficult. We're going to load the screw up first onto the screwdriver like that. Then we're going to try and do all what you just saw there. Back in here like that. In there like that. Holding it down. There we go. And then we're going to put a screw in here now. And this is basically all the way up to step 11. And we need to make sure that the LED is seated correctly in the hole. In other words, that it's all the way through and it's not warped or whatever. It looks just like that. See, nice and level. Once we've done that, it says take the LED cable and feed it through the rectangular hole in the casing of A. So this is the casing of A, and it's got to go through the rectangular hole. Now there's loads of rectangular holes in here, but the one it wants us to go through is the one here. This rectangular hole just on the side here. So let's get that through there, like that. And then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be also putting a speaker cable through there as well. So let's get our speaker cable unravelled. I always save these little wires, just so you know. They always come in handy for wire tidy later on. But yep, the speaker cable's going in there as well. Same hole, just like that. Turn the page, and then once we've got them through, we're going to be putting the speaker in first, which goes in this way round, and we push that down. And then basically we're going to be putting the, once that's in, nice and flat like that, this is step 17. And then on the other side, as you can see, it's showing you on 18, it's looking like that. And then what we're going to be doing is check the reverse that the speaker front is seated correctly. You do not need to glue this part, so we don't have to glue it. That's good. Gently bend the LED cable to about 40 degrees, because obviously we're going to need this to sit flat. So I'm bending this over now, being really gentle that I can. There we go. That's all bent in there now. And then I'm guessing we're just going to push all of these things together. Now the way that they clip together is that we've got 2 tab marks. I'm just making sure that we're going to line these up correctly with the 2 tab marks here. So look, if you look on the side here, that is going to be going in that way. So these 2 tab marks here are going to be going in. So let's give that a good push in. 1's in. 2's in. Just having a look all the way around, make sure everything's in. And there we go. That's everything in. Now, it might be worth doing another quick check to make sure that that light's still working. I don't think it asked me to do this in this stage, but I'm going to do it anyway because I want to check that that LED is still working. As you can see, it's still working. That's good. Because we had to bend some wires there. The last thing we want is that not working. So then we've got this base unit done with these 2 bits out here. So once we've done that, we're going to be offering this to one of the boosters here. It's just going to be sitting in, what way round? Fit the assembly LED side first into the previous assembly booster, and all of these wires are going to be coming out the side. It doesn't really matter what way round it goes by the look of it. So it's looking just like that. How cool is that? Now, you know what? I've got to light it up again. I need to light it up again because I want to see what it looks like. So let's plug that in again. I want to see what it looks like from one side. Turn it on. And there, wow, look at that. Let's show you. I had to do it. I'm such a kid. Right, okay, I needed to see what that looked like. Okay, so we know everything's working there. And that's basically that stage complete. So we've got a working booster there. Excellent. I'm just going to put that to one side because guess what? We're going to be mirroring that, exactly the same thing, again. So we're going to be bringing over this one now. Open this up. And we're going to be doing exactly the same thing as we did before. Now this one's got some parts for another vehicle in here, which is the hover bike. Another tiny vehicle that one is. So what we'll do is we'll get this all unravelled. Just like so. Cut open, you know what, I've already got one cut open. I've still got my spare, so we're going to need just that one thing there. We'll load up our screwdriver now, because we can just whiz through this now, because we know what we're doing. So, once again, we're going to put this in here like this. I'll try and have the pictures up on the screen while I'm doing these bits, but I won't be saying, you know, this is stage, whatever, because we've done it once already. Okay, that's that in there. Again, we push this in like this. Whoops. Making sure it's straight, which it is. Feed it with a screw. Wants me to test that that LED's working, so I forgot that stage. I'm going to do that now, because the last thing we want to do is, again, put this thing together and it's not working. So in, and as you see, we've got the light working. Lovely, everything's working perfect there. Put that to one side again, and then we've screwed all of this in. We've got this looking like that. Now what we're going to be doing, this is slightly different, this one, because we've got a ring that's going to be going into the top of it here. This is the ring here. This is step 13. It's just going to be sitting in the top just like that. This is the case inside the ring. Then we're going to be putting this one hasn't got a speaker, obviously. They only got the one speaker. Then we're going to be putting this on top, and we're going to be screwing it exactly the same way as before, with these tabs here going into the holes, that the corresponding holes on each side. So once that's in, it looks just like that. Slightly different, this one. It's just exactly the same as the last one, except without the speaker. And obviously we've got the one lead is coming out the bottom this time. Completely out the bottom. But this time what we're going to do is put this in another booster here. And the way this fits in is this way round. I don't know what holds this in, I have to say. Did anything hold that last one in? No, they just sit in like that. And that basically is that one completed. I thought that something holds this in, but I guess when this is in the vehicle, it's going to be held in. So we've got 2 working boosters and lights and stuff like that. Now it's time to build the hover bike. Oh, the bane of my life. These things are so tiny that I'll be honest with you, I do struggle with them. My eyesight ain't what it used to be. Right, this is only 3 pieces. So this should be really easy. You've got the base. You've got this little joystick console here, which is going to be going on top of the base on this little pinhole here. And I'm hoping that that pinhole is big enough, not like we've had for the last ones. So I'm going to put a dab of glue just on top of there. Like that. This is stage 2, and we need to make sure this is straight, which it is. And this is basically going to be fitting on this way round. So we're going to put this on now. Oh, and you know what? Finally, that went on perfectly. So I'm just having a good look, making sure it's straight. That's the most important bit of this one. Making sure it's straight on there. Pushing it down just a little bit more. There we go. And that is the hover bike completed. Now, do we have to glue little Scott Tracy onto this? It says Scott will sit on the vehicle like this, but it doesn't say to glue him. So I'll put Scott on like that. And that is probably the simplest model we've had to fit. Look how tiny that is. Look. Here's a ruler. If I show you about that side, look, he's got to be about 1 centimetre, if that, just shy of 1 centimetre. But anyway, look, that's little Scott Tracy on his hover bike. So we've done that one now. Now we get to start piecing everything together. So what we're going to need now is we're doing the right rear booster and the Cobra half track. So we've got the right rear booster in here and all the parts for the Cobra half track. So let's get this open. Oh. Right, one. I'm going to, with the Cobra half track, as you can see, it's exactly the same way as we used to do it before. So I'm just going to whiz through that bit and I'll cut the bits where I'm just doing the axles and stuff like that. The bits that we need just at the moment are the brackets, these 2 brackets here, the mesh, the little booster intake and some screws. So I'll open these screws up with my screwdriver. Perfecto. Okay, and then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking that speaker one out because it says note the difference in there between the cables running from the casing that holds the speaker. It's going to take this out for a minute. So we've got 2 different cables, a short one and a long one. The longer is the speaker cable and the short one is the LED. So just remember that. The longer is the LED, because they do look similar, don't they? The longer is the LED, the longer is the speaker, the shorter is the LED. Thank you for letting me know that. That's perfect. Okay, so what we're going to be doing, it says the mesh is designed to fit with its perforations forming horizontal aligned diamonds. So when we put this in, you want it going to be going that way round, not sort of like that way round. The perforation is going to be pointing horizontally like that. Okay, you want these all to go in the same way. So this is the bit that we're going to be putting first. Step 4 it says glue the mesh into the inside of the booster intake. Apply the glue lightly to the inner circle blue arrow. So this inner circle here, that's where it's going to be going. And it says by lining up the circled notch which is at the top of the booster face. Right, okay, so when this goes on, oh my god, this is hard. I'm just seeing how they've got it here. Right, so this is when this goes in. If that is going to be the top, we need to make sure this is revolved round so that this mesh is horizontal to that top piece. Which I'm just doing now, which will be around about there. That's how that's going to go in, just like that. So, let's get some dabs of glue on just this inner circle. Doesn't need the whole thing glued, just some dabs around the inner rim there. Now they do say this is directional, but to be honest with you, I don't think it really matters. It's, I mean, this is probably really detailed. I'm going to put it in like they told me though, because you know I do as I'm told. There we go. And that is horizontal to how they want it. And that was step 5 done. Now at step 6, we're going to be feeding the LED cable leading from the booster through its central hole. So again, we're working on this one here. I can take this out of here for a second. So remember, the LED one is the shorter of the two. So we're going to feed that through the centre hole there. Just like that. That was step 6 and 7. It says now fit the speaker cable through the hole. So this is going to be step 9. Just like that. There we go. So they're out the other side. Both should fit neatly like this. Locate the slots, blue circles in the intake of the tabs, yellow circles inside the booster body. So we're going to put that in just like that. Oh, this is coming undone. There we go. And that's all of those parts gone together just like that. As you can see, we've got some nice little mesh work going on there. That's excellent. And then once we've done those bits, we're going to be putting all of these bits together. So we've got these little tab holes here, and that's what's going to be going in these little lips here. So once they're in, we're going to be able to put it in and then turn it, and it will all hold together. Just like, let's get this turned into the position it needs to be. There we go, just like that. And that's the whole thing together with all the leads coming out, and you've got all the vent holes there. That was excellent. I really enjoyed that. That was tricky. It was tricky, I don't mind telling you that, but yeah, we've got that in. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to bring up the thing that we haven't seen for some time, which is the unit here. Now, I am aware I've got the front already screwed onto this vehicle, which we haven't done yet. Ignore that. That was just for pictures. So we're not doing that. That's later on. I'll take that off eventually. But we're going to be fitting this to the rocket. Now, the way this is going in, is this lower the booster into position into the intakes. Now, this is going to be going on this side just over here. This is the, if you're looking at the vehicle from the front, I suppose it's the left side. From the back, it's the right side. But we need to put a bracket into this little slot just down here. So step 14, we've got the bracket here. It's going to be fitting just inside this recess, just like that. Nice and easy. Once that's in, step 16 is we're going to be putting the booster in, and that's going to be resting on that bracket, just like that. It's going to hang down for a minute until I clamp this in over the top with these screws. So we'll put these in, and this is going to take us all the way up to step 21. It's going to hold that nice and tight in there. So I think what's probably best to do is if I put something underneath that to stop it. There you go, like I put my tweezers there just to keep it upright. That was clever, wasn't it? Put my tweezers under there. Keep it upright. And then we'll put this over the top, just like that, and then we'll get this secured in. I'm going to put this in really lightly, so we get one screw in first, really lightly, and then load up the other one. I'm going to hold it into exactly where it goes now. Line that one up as well, and then once this is in really tight, sorry I'm all fingers at the moment, but once this is in tight, this ain't coming out. We're screwing this down all the way. So that's the first one in. There we go, and that's the second one in. And as you can see, that's now held up lovely and tight, looking just like that. Pretty loud and proud, that, isn't it? So we know that the shorter one is the speaker. So is the speaker. The shorter one is the LED. So I'm going to connect this up again, and theoretically, when I turn this on, making sure it's round the right way, because it's not round the right way at the moment. When I turn this on, that light should come on again. So we check. There we go. Once again, very good. So that is working, and everyone's happy. So we've got that completed. Okay, so now we're going to be doing the Cobra half track. I'm going to put this on the floor again, because we don't need that for a second. And now the Cobra half track, exactly like last time, what I'm going to do is take the sprues off, and then we'll come back to this when I've got these all ready to go on the axles.
A few moments later.
Okay, so welcome back. So as you can see, I've put these on the axles, so they're all ready to go on the vehicle now. Basically, the rear of the vehicle is the one that's got the diamond at the end here. So the rear has the little sprocket joint on there, a sprocket wheel. Goes on just like that. And then once again, we just push in the other wheel from the other side. Keep them together. And then we just repeat along the vehicle here. So that's the second one. Whoops. And then what I do is I give them all a good push down in a second to make sure they're in as far as they can go on these axles. That's the next one in. And last but not least, this one here. I think in Thunderbirds, they were definitely a big fan of the old tracks. There we go. And that's all in. So we've got all the wheels in there, looking just like that. Put the tracks on. So once again, when the tracks go on, the teeth go over the top of the wheels. Just like that. As you can see, we're going to put the other one on the other side here. We've done this so many times now. You know what? I've lost track of the amount of times. And there we go. That's the tracks on. And then what we're going to do then is we're going to be putting the top piece, which is this piece here, onto the vehicle. And the way this goes is if this is the back of the vehicle, you're going to have this little indent is going to be facing towards the back. So when this is on, it's going to look just like that from the back. So we'll get this glued on as well. Got two little glue holes here, just here and here. I'm just putting it on the side of those because that's what's going to grip to the base below. There we go, and that's the first half of the Cobra half track completed, so I can put that to one side, because the last thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing the next speaker and putting this on the vehicle here. Just getting rid of my rubbish. There we go. So we'll open this pack up, and we're going to repeat exactly what we just did before, although we are adding some extra bits to the Cobra half track by the look of it. So we need, let's have a look, that bit, the bracket, that bit, and the screws. Everything else there is for the Cobra half track. So once again, we're going to dab some glue just inside this inner circle here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to be putting the little thing in so it's the right way round, which would be horizontal this way to that bit there. Yeah, so that goes in just like that, just holding it in for a second. So there we go, it looks like that. Then we're going to be feeding through. There's only one wire to feed through on this one, just through there like that. Then that's going to be basically pushed into this like this. So it looks just like that. Look, we've got that one together so much easier than the last one. And as you can see on the back, you've got all the little mesh and stuff like that. That looks really good, I have to say. I like that. And then once again, we're going to be bringing up this vehicle, the main body of the vehicle, because we're going to be attaching this to the spare socket here. So what we do, once again, we're going to put this little piece here, the little bracket, in like that. We're going to open our little screw pack here, because we need 2 screws out of this. And then we're going to put the speaker in here, just like that. We're going to open up, where's my little tweezers? I'm going to put my, there, that's better, so I can keep that straight like that. And I need my little bracket here. I've put my little nail clippers there, which is pretty cool. I'm hoping you can see this on, yeah, you can see this on one of the cameras, so that's good. So I'll put the bracket over the top there. And then once again, we'll get this put in. I'm just going to put this in lightly on one side. And then I'll put it lightly on the other side, and then I'll tighten this up. As you can see, it's just falling out. It's probably best to do it that way, actually, really light. Then push it into where it goes, and then tighten it up. So I'll give it a good old tight now. There you go, that's in nice and tight. I've just noticed this one in here, this booster I did before, wasn't in far enough. It needs to fit so flush in the vehicle that there's no gap between the bodywork and the booster. So I'm just going to put this one back in again to where it should actually go. Just like that. As you notice, when I brought that up then, it fell out, you see, and that shouldn't have happened. So I've put it in where it's supposed to go now, making it nice and tight. This isn't moving now. There we go, and that's in just like that. Now the only thing I'm not sure of at the moment is the orientation of these holes here, whether they should be straight or not. Now these can be turned if they, you know, if you want to be fussy and you want to make it the right way round. I need to check some reference pictures to that to see exactly what the right way round that goes is. But basically, we've got the 2 LED modules in there now, and that bit's completed. So we can put that to the floor again, because we're going to be building the last bit of the Cobra half track. And for that, we're basically going to be needing the, we've got quite a few bits here actually. We've got some wheels, we've got some little bits there, some bits here. Oh wow, loads. What I have noticed is that we don't have an axle on this one. But the first thing we're going to be doing, it says glue the pad to the underbody panel like this. All parts will be glued. So we've got an underbody panel, which I believe is, I'm just having a look at all the parts I've got here. which is this bit here. This is the underbody panel here. We've got a little part just to put in this section just here. And that's the little square bit. That little bit here. Where's my little tweezers? Because this is, again, a really tiny bit. It can only go in one way because obviously the back of this matches the hole that's in that unit. So what we'll do is we'll put a dab of glue on this. Just like that. I'm going to pick this up with my tweezers actually because I don't want to get glue on myself. And this is going to be going in just this way here like this. There we go, and that bit's in like that. Now don't mind telling you that I had to cut the bits off of the back of that again because the little extrusions on this side were far too big for that unit. So shame, but I had to do that. Okay, so step 3, we're going to be gluing this part that we've just got here to the underbody section here. And the way this goes is you've got 3 pinholes here going over these 3 holes here. So when we've got this in, this is going to be glued. It's going to be, oh, actually I say it's going to be glued, that's gone in really tight. It's going to look just like that. Next part we're going to be doing is we're going to be turning this this way round. Oh, let's get it right way around. Now we're going to be, this is step 5, we're going to be putting the front axle in the vehicle, and this is going to be going in this way. Does it have to be glued? Let's have a look. It just says place it into the axle groove, just like that. It does not matter which way round it goes round. Okay, so when that's in, step 7, we're going to be putting this to the main body of the vehicle, and the way this goes is with these flaps this side, is going to be going that side of the vehicle. So when we put these together, let's just get these little pinholes in. It's going to look just like that. This has to be glued into place. So once they're in, we're going to take these apart again and just glue this in quickly by these 2 little holes that we've got. Just seeing it connects actually through these 4 pins. So you've got 1 pin there, 1 pin there, 1 there, and 1 there. Put this together again. Excellent. So that's that bit all completed. Now we're going to be putting the tyres on. And the way the tyres go is it says feed the axle through one of the wheels, position like this. Do not glue these parts. So I'm not going to glue these parts. They're going to go in this one first and then this one. Now the way they go in is with the flat sides facing down towards the vehicle. So once we've got one side in, we've got some little hubcaps to put on, which are these little things on the sprues here. Do these have to be glued on? No, it says also without glue, fit one of the hubcaps. So put that on now. I'm going to hold it at one side because what we're going to be doing is once the other ones are on, there's the first one and the second one. And again, we're going to put this hubcap on. It's going to hold it that way around. These are all probably going to fall off at the moment because those hubcaps aren't on completely at the moment. I need to push them both together, but I'm conscious that we're working with plastic here, so I don't want to break it. But that's the second one on there just like that. And that's the 3 wheels on. It says, also without glue, fit one of the 2 hubcaps. But if you don't put glue on that, that's going to just fall off. So I'm a little bit confused by that. Because the hubcaps don't turn and the vehicles do. So I am going to put glue. This is probably the thing that I don't want to do. But I mean, one's on, I think. I don't know, actually. They've stayed on, so we'll leave it like that. And then what we're going to be doing is now we've got those 2 bits on. And see, that works absolutely, wheels around absolutely fine. We're going to be putting this top piece onto the bottom piece. And the way this goes, we've got these little pinholes here that are going to basically match the holes just in this section here like that. So it's going to go together like that. It says glue this stage assembly to the top of the previous stage. So we're going to have it looking just like that. So what we'll do is we'll get that on now with a little touch of glue. In these 2 holes here. Excellent. Push them together. Cobra Half Track's quite a big vehicle, really, isn't it? Look at that. And there we go. Looking good. And guess what? That's that stage complete. So there you have it. That's pack 11 done. There's 1 more pack to go. Just to think, once that final pack's done, that's the full Thunderbird completed. It's already done. That video is going to be out soon, and you really are going to like it because I am so excited with this build, and with all the support vehicles and the pods and everything, this has really exceeded my expectations big time. I mean, I didn't know what to expect when I first got this model delivered or started to be delivered, but now we've done pack 11, You can see the smile on my face. I absolutely love it. If you want to get this for yourself, then just go over to this website here, type that into your web browser and have a look at all the details on there. You can get this subscription over 12 or 24 months, and the code there will enable you to have 5% discount off each pack. And from what I understand, that's pretty much worldwide now. I know it works in America and Australia, definitely. So if that's something that you think you're going to want to do, then by all means, go over there and subscribe. And if you haven't watched all my other videos, then obviously I've got from an introduction all the way past the other 10 packs. This is being pack 11. Pack 12 is probably going to come out in a few days, so that'll be the final one. After pack 12, I'm going to do another video, just a big showcase of what this actual build has made for me. But really happy with that. One last thing to do is, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, it's not just Thunderbird 2 we're doing everything for Modelspace. And some of the Modelspace things I've built, as you can see, the Falcon in the back there. I'm gobsmacked by them. But yeah, subscribe to my channel. You'll get notified when new videos are out. And other than that, thank you for watching. Take care.